Hey everyone, Kyle here, collecting America's pastime. Hope you guys are having a nice finish to your weekend. I spent the weekend at the card shop. I worked Saturday and Sunday. Saturday we had the Pokemon trade night, which was awesome. A little bit slower this time around, thanks to Halloween and all the parties and stuff like that. But still a great time. Tons of kids who picked up good cards, and my girls had a blast. And yeah, it was a good time. Met some great people, but and then uh, on Sunday or today, the or yesterday, I guess technically it's a little past minute when I'm recording this, but yesterday we had a couple customers come in. One of them was a father son that asked me what they should do to build his son's collection as a foundation, and I of course pointed him to the vintage baseball specifically, and he picked up some nice vintage cards. Told him three foundational pieces to focus on are your favorite team or teams. Um, this new generation has favorite teams. Uh, when I was growing up, you liked the local team, and that was it. Hence why I'm a Browns fan. We didn't have the luxury of picking and choosing. Um, and then favorite player or players, and Hall of Famers, especially vintage. Um, so I told him the first two, you can't go wrong. It's not about money at that point. It's just about what you like. And then the last one is a good place to put your money, because those Hall of Famers always do well, especially vintage. So, and he really appreciated that. They picked up a ton of great cards. I think they got an '80s Jordan. Some did they? I think they got like 49 Bowman baseball, or 50 Bowman baseball. They picked up a Cleveland card, 50 Bowman, some '70s and '80s Hall of Famers. So great starting point for their collection. But the other thing I mentioned to them was the baseball card series by Dan Gutman. So any parents who are watching this, there is a book series. It's called the Baseball Card Series, and it's written by Dan Gutman. When I was growing up, it was like 7 or 8 books in the series. I think it's quite a few now. I'll put the picture of the books on the screen now. The premise of the story is, the first one is the Honus in Me, and it's about a kid who is cleaning his neighbor's attic, has a random pack of cards on him. I forget how that comes about, but they're modern cards that he was keeping on him to open later, I think. And he finds a T206 Honus Wagner, and when he touches the card, he actually travels back in time to when the period of when the card existed. And he does, the entire book series goes on. He uses the modern cards to travel back to the present time, and it's a really really great book series. It's an easy read for kids. It's a great read for kids. It explores history in a unique way, and it gets people interested in the cards. So that's actually how I got into vintage. I'd always told my mom when I was reading those that I'm going to collect these cards someday when I can afford it. And when I got back into collecting right after high school, I dove into modern. Realized that didn't really do it for me, and quickly shifted towards vintage and pre-war. And I've never been happier with what I'm collecting. So if you have kids, highly recommend that book series. Um, so, speaking of kids, please pray for my wife. She has had a dickens of a time recently, trying to get some sleep. The baby, 6 months old, but he's giving her a run for her money right now, and she is exhausted. So keep her in your prayers. Speaking of prayer, shout out to Jake. Legends never die. He is doing some live sales. He's did one tonight. His first one was tonight. Ran just under 2 hours. according to him, it didn't even scratch the surface, and there was some absolute gems in what he was showing. So if you haven't seen his recent videos, he picked up some collections recently, especially one huge one, and he's working on kind of piecing out what he's not keeping to help fund his collecting going forward. So he's a great dude, and I actually have I have one card coming from him, and hoping to add some more as he goes through those sales. So keep an eye on his channel for when the future sales are going to be. I don't know what the cadence is, but he'll keep you updated. So great dude, great cards, and great time being in the live stream for almost 2 hours. So my mail days this weekend. I think, as I mentioned in the previous video, I've been working on trimming down my collection. I had tons of junk wax and vintage that I didn't really want. In a past life, I had the crazy idea of collecting every single Cleveland Indians and Guardians card from every set, and that's just simply not feasible. Nor do I care about half of the players in those sets. So I had somehow started that before, and I've been working on kind of selling that off, and along with just a ton of other stuff. So been building up the card fund to rebuild this Hall of Fame project along with my other kind of sub projects, and had my first few mail days this weekend, and I think Thursday, Friday were the first two. So without further ado, let's get into those. So the first one was a 1974 Hank Aaron Home Run King. How I'm doing this, I do want to collect multiple cards of every player, and of every Hall of Famer, I should say. And some of these superstars, like Hank Aaron, Mickey Mantle, Jackie Robinson, you kind of got to get creative to stick to a budget slash, make the dollar go further, I guess. And I'd never really considered any insert type cards for post-war Hall of Famers in my first attempt at the Hall of Fame project. And this time is completely different. I am actually all over the inserts. I think it's a great way to get into the Hall of Famers for more of a budget price. For example, this Hank Aaron, I paid $2.14 for on eBay, shipped out the door. I couldn't believe it. Yes, it's creased and flawed, but it's a collector condition card, and I'm a collector, so really happy with that. Secondly, we have the this one's special, actually. It's a Dean Kiekefer mail day. So for those of you who don't know, there's a Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group. You have to be invited by a member. It's called Tobacco Row. It's pre-war cards only, but the people in it are absolute A1. You could not find a better group of collectors on Facebook than Tobacco Row. And one of the longtime members is a guy named Dean Kiekefer. He played in the majors, and I believe he was coaching in the minors at one point. And Dean, if you're watching this, I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong, but I don't know if he's still doing that. But he is a phenomenal person. And about 7-8 years ago, when I had first joined Tobacco Row, and when Tobacco Row was really starting to blossom, he was making a name for himself by buying the worst of the worst T206s you could find. If it had a major flaw, it belonged in Dean's collection. And he has put together a couple different complete T206 sets. As complete as possible without the, I don't know if he has the plank. I doubt he has the plank, but the no Honus. I don't believe any plank, and I'm not sure what of the other tougher ones, but I think up to like 519, 520 is what he's been doing. And he's put together multiples of those for a fraction of the cost of a nicer condition one, because he's buying the worst condition. And so he's a genius for it, in my opinion. And as I'm getting back into this project, he had posted a couple beater T206s he had for sale, and I asked if he had anything different. What he had posted were Cobb and Walter Johnson, and wasn't quite ready to spend that much money. And he had this Willie Keeler, and it is a Sovereign 150 back, which is apparently one of the toughest backs for Willie Keeler and this pose specifically. So I was thrilled to snag this. Got it for 150. Very happy with that price. And yeah, yes, it's flawed, but it has a great backstory. It's coming from Dean, and it's a pretty special card to me. And whoever colored the borders in, thank you for not touching the name. That is very important to me. Keeping some key components to a card untouched, and the name is one of them. So great artistry there. And then of course I got the auto rookie card. He sent that. I had mailed that to him the week prior, or I had mailed that to him, the week prior, and he autographed that for me. I had that card waiting to send to him for years now, and he autographed it for me, and sent back the Keeler and this card with it. So pretty cool story, pretty cool connection there, and great card. And then lastly, we have this next 4 cards came from a Net 54 sale. I forget who reached out, if I reached out to the guy or if he reached out to me. I think I reached out to him. But he had some really cheap 50s and 60s Hall of Famers. The 66 Topps Dick Allen here is one of the cards I needed for the Hall of Fame project. I didn't have a Dick Allen yet. And then this 1969 Luis Aparicio is another one that I needed for the Hall of Fame project. I didn't have an Aparicio. I previously had one in my last attempt, but I realized it was actually his last card, which came after his playing days. So those 2 are new to the Hall of Fame project. And then he was doing he was shipping them PWE, and so he could do 4 cards, and to kind of make the most of that, I wanted to add 2 more, and he had the 1962 Topps Nellie Fox right here. Great card. I have a Nellie Fox. I think it's a 65 Topps. So as we go, I'm creeping back further and further on these player runs. And then he had the 54 Bowman and a Slaughter. And yes, it has the crease, but I paid $250 per card shipped net. So can't beat 4 50s and 60s Hall of Famers for $10 total. It was a great deal. So the eye appeal on these is outstanding as well. So it was 7 cards, 7-card mail day if you include the auto, which I do. I was technically getting that back, but I'm going to count it because it has a new addition to it. So 7-card mail day weekend, and there is definitely more to come. This week should be a pretty big week for mail days. The card fund is drying up, so I gotta go to the garage and find old tools and stuff like that to start selling and cleaning up the house. My wife loves that part. So with the Cooperstown collection, we are at 177 out of 351 Hall of Famers now. Good for 50.43%. So we've officially crossed over the halfway point. This is, again, true to how I want to do this project. It's coming along very nicely. So this does not include what is in the mail currently on the way. This is just what has already arrived, which is this mail day. So these 6 cards are actually technically only 4 have been added to this. So good progress. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more mail day videos this week. Live free, dream big.